it's me reporting to you still from a graveyard. So, to start off October, I thought that we should dive into a little bit of history of Halloween. As you know, Halloween happens on October 31st. Duh. So, basically, Halloween, the tradition originated with the ancient Celtic people and their festival of Samhain. And Samhain, basically, the festival is when people would light bonfires and they would wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor saints, which would become known as All Saints' Day. It incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain, and so the evening before was known as All Hallows' Eve and later Halloween. But over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, and festive gatherings, wearing costumes, eating treats. But Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. So, the Celts, they lived a long time ago, like 2,000 years we're talking, and mostly the area that they lived in is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France. And they celebrated their new year on November 1st. So this day pretty much marks the end of summer and the end of harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter. But that time of year is also associated with human death. The Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead can become blurred and a lot more thin. So, on the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, and it's believed that the ghosts of the dead would return to Earth during this time. So, in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, the Celts thought that the presence of these otherworldly spirits would make it easier for the Druids or the Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. So, these people were entirely dependent on the natural world, so these prophecies were a really important source during the long winter months. It gave them comfort, it gave them some hope and something to look forward to. So, to commemorate this entire event, the Druids built huge bonfires where the people gathered, and they would burn crops, and they would use animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, they would wear costumes, and these costumes would consist of animal heads and skins, and they would attempt to tell each other fortunes. So, when all of this was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening from the sacred bonfire, and that would help protect them during the coming winter. Some even further backstory that's kind of interesting. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered a lot of the Celtic territory. So, in the course of about 400 years, they ruled all of the Celtic lands, and two festivals of Roman origin were combined with traditional Celtic celebrations, like that of Samhain. So the first was Feralia, and that is a day in late October when the Romans would traditionally commemorate the passing of the dead. And the second was a day to honor Pomona, which was the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. Now, the symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of that celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that's practiced today on Halloween. So let's talk about All Saints' Day. On May 13th, 609 AD, I don't know how they kept track of stuff so long ago, but Pope Boniface IV, he dedicated the Pantheon in Rome, and in honor of all Christian martyrs, the Catholic Feast of All Martyrs' Day was established in the Western Church. Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs and moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st. Now, by the 19th century, the influence of Christianity had spread into Celtic hands. And then it gradually began to blend and supplanted older Celtic rites. So in about 1000 AD, the church made November 2nd All Souls Day to honor the dead, and it's widely believed that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic Festival of the Dead with a related church-sanctioned holiday. Very sneaky. All Souls Day was celebrated similarly to Samhain, with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. The All Saints' Day celebration was also called All Hallows or All Hallowmans. It's from Middle English also revived. It was a relatively inexpensive way for an entire community to share the Halloween celebration. So families could also prevent tricks being played on them by providing the neighbors with treats to make them go away and be nice. So that new American tradition was born, and it has continued to grow. And today we spend an estimated, can you guess how much money we spend on Halloween as a country? Guess more. Guess more. More. $6 billion. It's the second largest commercial holiday after Christmas, which explains to me right now why we've been seeing Halloween stuff out since freaking August. Whew. So let's talk about black cats and ghosts, because this is more my field. So it's always been a holiday filled with like mystery and magic and superstition and all that fun stuff. As we know, it began as a Celtic end of summer festival when people would feel especially close to their deceased relatives and friends. And for these friendly spirits, they would set places at the dinner table and leave treats on the doorstep along the side of the road and lit candles to help loved ones find their way back to the spirit world. So today's Halloween ghosts are often depicted as more fearsome and malevolent, and our customs and superstitions are scarier too. We avoid crossing paths with black cats. We're afraid they might bring us bad luck. That idea has roots in the Middle Ages because many people believed that witches avoided detection by turning themselves into black cats. That's why people are afraid of cats, black cats, because they thought witches would just become black cats. That, my friends, is the history of Halloween. So I hope that you get this month started off in a fun and creepy way. And if you're like me and you like to celebrate creepy things all year round, why don't you do yourself a favor? Hit subscribe, hit the bell. I'm trying to bring you more and more spooky content. And if you have any scary stories that you want to share, comment below. I would love to share them. I love being scared. I love the little thrills of things, and I'm getting to a point where sometimes I read stories and I'm like, it's not scary enough. It's not scary enough. So how do we make it scary enough? So, have a wonderful Halloween. Have a great night. Don't let the ghost bite. Let's celebrate this month, right? So, my main camera battery just died, and I don't know what caused this, but I swear on my life, I turned off my camera, I turned off this, and then my REM pod went off, and it went off for probably about 3 to 4 seconds, just beep, and I froze in fear. And then of course, as soon as I got my camera back on, it went off, and now it's not making a sound, and now I look like a big fat liar. And why did you wait until everything was off to give me compelling evidence? You don't have to be shy. It's okay. Thank you for listening to my stories today. If there's anyone here, I'm about to go now, but maybe I'll come back and have coffee with you guys tomorrow. But this is your last chance to say a little something. If you want to say it on the obelisk, or if you want to say it by touching the REM pod, now is your chance. No one can come home with me. You all have to stay here. But I want to thank you for allowing me to come into your space. Can you touch this REM pod again? Nothing. Oh my gosh, I swear to you, it went off and now I can't get it to go off. Well, at least I know it works because we used this thing. Like, we used this all night at this haunted hotel, and not once did it go off. Not once the whole entire time. And here I am today, and I've just been sitting here for about an hour reading stuff, and now I've got a little spider coming down on my dashboard. That's great. And I've been reading this all day. Oh my god, it's going to jump on me. And I've been sitting here for like an hour reading, and it went off as soon as I turned off my camera, as soon as I turned off my voice recorder. So I don't know if that's something saying, hey, thank you for reading to us. If that's the case, you are so welcome. And I'll come back tomorrow morning and have coffee with you before I go to work. But you have to stay here, and I will be back. No one is allowed to come with me. And we pray this in Jesus' name, in the name of Jesus Christ, God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Nothing may follow me home. Everything must stay here. And I'm gonna burn a little bit of Palo Santo, and I'm gonna be on my merry way, so good night. Don't let the ghost bite, and don't let them follow you home.
And the moment that I went to turn everything off again, interest came out. Thanks again for listening to my stories. I'm glad you found them interesting. I'll be back with more.